Many thanks again for joining me on Business Live. I am Emmanuel Apwaji Riafe. In today's edition, Minister of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, Elizabeth Ofosu-Adjare, has indicated industry players, including hoteliers, who fail to meet professional standards may soon face sanctions. Association of Ghana Industries AGI responds to Bank of Ghana's decision to maintain the policy rate at 26%. And customers of microfinance company DKM Diamond are to start receiving their deposits from next month. This follows completion of works by the firm appointed by the Registrar General, PwC, to review the assets of DKM that can be sold to remit affected customers of the company. These are the headlines, but of course we have other stories also coming up on the program. Meantime, you can join us by being interactive on Twitter at JoyBusinessGH is the handle, and on Facebook you can go to Joy Business, that's our page. And for more news updates, of course, in business, log on to myjoyonline.com/business. We're taking a quick break. The details follow shortly.
Business Live today is brought to you by GCB Bank.
Hello again, thanks for staying. Welcome back. Minister of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, Elizabeth Ofosu-Adjare, has indicated industry players, including hoteliers, who fail to meet professional standards may soon face sanctions. The lack of skilled personnel remains one of the challenges hampering growth in the sector. The ministry, in this light, yesterday launched an initiative to train players across the country with over 200,000 Ghana cedis. Madam Ofosu-Adjare says this is geared towards making tourism the #1 foreign exchange earner for the country. Daryl Kwao has more.
Contribution to national revenue generation has increased by 3.5% over the last few years and represented 7.8% of the country's GDP in 2014. It continues to be the fourth highest foreign exchange earner after gold, cocoa and oil, and could improve significantly if extra efforts are made to harness the numerous tourism potential that abound in many places in the country. The latest report by online hotel booking portal Juvago, however, identified the lack of skilled personnel in various positions as having a negative impact on the growth of the industry. Speaking to Joy Business at the launch of a nationwide training program for personnel in the hospitality sector, Minister for Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, Elizabeth Ofosu-Adjare, emphasized the importance of professionalism in beating competition posed by other countries.
The competition is stiff. Everybody wants a very, 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 very good tourism destination. It only happens when we have professionals serving at our facilities. That is how come the ministry, through Tourism Development Fund, has sponsored this program to ensure that the private sector do well. We all know that tourism is public sector led, private sector driven. So as the public sector, we are ready to lead it so that the private sector can drive it. We are doing this for the private sector because we know that it is only the private sector that can help tourism to thrive. So we'll continue to give off these good training to help them in their businesses, to help tourism to be sustained. As we speak right now, tourism is the fourth highest foreign exchange earner, and we know that with the good people we have in Ghana, with the kind of facilities that we have, if you're able to do very good training, we'll move from being fourth to third, second, or first, which is the ultimate, and we know that it is doable.
The 10-week training will focus on areas such as accommodation, catering, customer care, housekeeping, and front office operations.
It's about time government focused more on growing the economy if it is to effectively bring the rising public debt under control. That's the advice coming from economist Professor Godfred Bokpin. The country's total debt has now hit 110 billion Ghana cedis, representing about 66% of GDP. Meanwhile, government has downplayed suggestions linking this to increased borrowing. Rather, maintaining the debt levels will reduce by the end of this year. Professor Bokpeng, however, says government's debt management strategy will not yield the desired results until it prioritizes economic growth.
We have to be able to keep our debt level within a certain acceptable level and effectively grow our economy. The most effective way of managing your debt is to grow your economy. If you have the best strategy and it doesn't translate to growing the economy in real terms, I mean, you don't have any strategy at all. Because if the economy is not expanding, you are not generating cash flow, your debt level is increasing, it comes with increasing costs, then you are not going to do that much. You only just have to generate enough money to service your debt and pay wages and salaries. Then you have very little to actually do capital spending. Once you allocate very little to capital projects or capital spending, especially relative to debt servicing, you are not preparing for the future. You are unable to maintain your assets. You can't replace your assets when they are due for replacement because you wouldn't have made effective provision towards that. And then again, you are unable to close the huge infrastructure deficit that is actually inhibiting the efficiency of doing business in this economy.
Meanwhile, Finance Minister Seth Terkper says the current argument about the country's debts should focus on the country's ability to pay and where the funds are being directed to, rather than just the figures. Government has again come under some criticism after the public debt shot up by some 5 billion cedis in just 2 months to 110 billion cedis as of July this year. But speaking at an engagement with financial journalist group IFEDGE, Finance Minister Seth Terkper said it might not be fair for people to just focus on final debt numbers.
Nominal cedis may be important, but you can only compare yourself to Kenya, to other countries, when you reduce, Kenya to dollars, you reduce, because at least everybody knows the dollar, is an international currency. And this is where, again, the dollar basis and the exchange rate and others, matter. And so a strong currency, without borrowing can affect, your debt. And a weak currency, without borrowing, can affect the debt stock. The debt stock may be the same. So this is where measures, and it's not just debt. If you want to measure the deficit, is the deficit to what? To GDP. You want to measure wages, and when you want to compare yourself to another country, you must bring it to a common denominator. And certainly when all of us send our data to the IMF, you go to the IMF website and you say, I've gone to the IMF, the World Bank, it's all denominated in dollars. Even the IMF itself, their currency is called what? SDR. It's not a dollar. But when they publish, they change the SDR into what? Into dollars.
Now, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Abdul Nasiru Isahaku, says current developments in the country support government's claim that the economy is turning around gradually. The governor said this when he announced the Monetary Policy Committee's decision to maintain the policy rate at 26% in Accra yesterday. Now, what does this mean to businesses in the country? Okay, joining me on phone to explore the implications is the CEO of the Association of Ghana Industries, Seth Chum Akwabwa. Good evening, sir. Welcome to Business Live. Hello, good evening. Mr. Akwabwa, good evening. Welcome to Business Live. All right, so we're trying to link up with the CEO of the Association of Ghana Industries, which is the umbrella body of all businesses in the country, to talk about how they are reacting to the current decision by the MPC to maintain the policy rate. Of course, this influences how commercial banks also fix their interest rates, and of course translates into the cost of operations of businesses. And we've been joined by Seth Chum Akwabwa, the CEO, to tell us the implications. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to Business Live. Hello. Hello, Mr. Akwabwa. Hello.
Hello, I can hear you.
All right, now, Mr. Akwabwa, if you can hear me, were you disappointed when the MPC's decision was to maintain the policy rate at 26% yesterday?
Well, the policy rate will come down. Because if you look at the trend, for the past 6 months or so, we not had a policy rate change. And in the beginning of this year, we had reasonable stability of the economic environment.
Hello, Mr. Akwabwa.
Yes.
You sound very, very faint. Can you please draw the microphone?
The line is not very clear.
Can you please reposition yourself where you're standing? I think we don't get the right feedback from you.
Okay, let me change my position a bit if that will help.
Yeah, I think it's getting better. It's getting better, so you can speak now.
Is it better now?
Yes, yes, please.
Okay. The point I was making is that for industry or for businesses, we were actually expecting the policy rate to come down.
Okay.
Because if you look at the trend, there has been, significant stability in the macroeconomic environment since the beginning of this year. Interest rate has been, the inflation rate has been quite stable. All the indicators seem to be quite stable. So we were expecting the policy rate to come down, especially so since the policy rate has been 26%, for several months. And therefore, if there's stability in the economy, there's stability in the macroeconomic environment, then one would expect the policy rate to fall. As you know, the policy rate is a major determinant of the cost of credit. And therefore, if the policy rate comes down, one would expect the cost of credit to also come down. Businesses are having serious challenges with cost of doing business because of utilities and all that. So if we've had stability, then one would also expect the policy rate to have come down. So that was actually our expectation.
All right, so under the current regime, would it impact in any way positively or negatively, or nothing changes at all for businesses?
Well, I don't think things will change for the worse because it's not been increased. If it had been increased, then one would expect that interest rate was to come up. But it hasn't been increased. But we were expecting the situation to improve by having a lower policy rate so that it will drive interest rates also down. That was our expectation, and we think that is how the situation has been.
Do you think the nearness to the election, period is also a factor for which the policy rate has been maintained consecutively for about 4 or 5 times already within the year?
Well, if they say it's a factor, I'm not aware of it, and I don't see why closeness or nearness to the elections should have any effect on the policy rate. We expect that once the policy rate is changing, the macroeconomic fundamentals are improving, we should expect the policy rate to come down so that interest rate will also be influenced positively as well.
Is the interest rate, is it the key determinant of your cost of operations?
Of course, interest rate is the key determinant, and the interest rate is somehow influenced by the policy rate as well. The interest rate is very important. It's a major cost component in the cost structure of any business.
So what should be businesses, your members, what should they be doing now strategically to be able to weather the storm of the current dispensation?
Well, what it means is that cost of credit is not going to change. It's not going to come down, contrary to the expectation that with the stability we're going to have a lowering policy rate, and therefore cost of credit was going to come down. But now it means that it's been maintained. Being maintained means that they should just appreciate that the cost of credit is basically going to remain as it is, and therefore do business with the expectation that cost of credit is remaining unchanged. Of course, it's already very high, so if your cost of credit is high, it's a major cost component in your operations, then you have to look at other ways of cutting down costs so you can survive and do business. But our expectation is that going forward, we should see a significant reduction in the policy rate as economic stabilizes, so that we will have a lot more positive improvement in the interest rate as well.
Thank you very much, Mr. Seth Chumakwabwa, for your time.
Thank you.
Mr. Seth Chumakwabwa is the CEO of the Association of Ghana Industries. Moving on, customers of microfinance company DKM Diamond are to start receiving their deposits from next month. It follows the completion of works by the firm appointed by the Registrar General, PwC, to review the assets of DKM that can be sold to remit affected customers of the company. In line with this, the Registrar General's Department has started the process of engaging customers on how the payment will be done. The meeting started at the Sunyan Coronation Park in the Bonahafu region today. Jimama Oware is acting Registrar General.
The payments would definitely start from the beginning of the early part of October. Yes, they would.
What measures have you put in place to ensure that indeed the rightful, let me use the word, depositors get their funds?
That is why I kept saying our consultants are proving the claims. So you're not going to get a fraudster getting there to go and get monies that are not due there. You understand? We have claims that have been put in. We are cross-checking with the claims on the service. So if your name is not in there, or if isn't a document that actually validates that you are the rightful person, you won't get your claim. Because when they are coming there, they'll have to come with their ID card. So you don't get fraudsters coming to come and take what they shouldn't really be taking.
How much have you been able to get right now from the assets that you have looked at from DKM?
I don't think I can tell you that one, because liquidation is an ongoing process. We've been able to realize some assets, but I can't give you the exact figure.
What about
how much we've realized?
What about the customers who have also come forward to say that the company owes us this amount?
So that is the whole process of liquidation. All those people are creditors. You have secured creditors, you have unsecured creditors. So that's why we put out a notice, bring in any claims that you have against DKM. So that whole process, we have a list of people who put in claims. If they haven't put in claims yet, we have an opportunity for you when we go to the various creditor meetings all over the country, and you know for a fact that you're a creditor of DKM, you can come over there and make your claim.
Meanwhile, Joy Business is learning that customers of DKM are likely to receive only a part of their deposits. In another development, an official of PricewaterhouseCoopers PwC, Eric Nipa, says they have so far validated 93,000 claims, which run into 514 million cedis, contrary to what the Bank of Ghana got, which was 63,000 claims, running into 113 million cedis. He also said his outfit cannot confirm the exact amount of money to be paid to the affected customers, but assures them that the unexpected list next week Friday will confirm other details, including the validated names, amount to be paid, and so on. He further stated that they are talking to ADB Bank, GCB Bank, and Fidelity Bank to facilitate the payment. Let's still on Business Live. Let's take a short break here. We'll be right back. Still on Business Live, welcome back. The recent performance of the Ghana cedi has forced lots of firms, especially those in the import sector, to withhold a chunk of their cash in dollars. This is to prevent a situation where companies are compelled to look for dollars anytime the local currency depreciates. The development has also resulted in some firms locking most of their funds for operations in dollar assets. Financial consultant Charles Mensah looks at whether current predictions that the cedi will stabilize in the coming months should impact businesses.
Typically, you are looking at forex management. So if it is that you have a lot of suppliers' credit to deal with at a particular time, and with this influx of dollars coming into play, that means there will be a bit of stability. If it is that you would be exposed to your suppliers and the stability, then the chances are that it will not affect you too much, because once you have your cedis, you will be able to meet your suppliers' amount. Posture is that you try and keep things balanced. So don't do long-term discussion of your supplier's credit or your customer the credit. Just look at the balancing. So be looking at 14 to 30 days around, so that you have a hold on, if anything happens, you can balance yourself out. But when it is that you have a long-term, 3 months, 90-day credit, 45-day, 60-day credit, sometimes we misapply the initial cedis that will come into me. Unless we have a system with the banks where you can buy ahead, so you protect against any fluctuation of the currency.
Business Live today was brought to you by GCB Bank.
Time now for the interview of the day segment. Government is being challenged to, as soon as possible, ratify the World Trade Organization WTO's Trade Facilitation Agreement to enable the country to take advantage of its associated economic benefits. The agreement seeks to make cross-border trade easier, quicker and less costly for businesses. Speaking with Joy Business at a forum on the agreement, Vice President of Global Alliance for Trade Facilitation and Head of Customs and Trade Facilitation at the International Chamber of Commerce, ICC Ghana, Donia Hamami, outlined the economic benefits of the agreement holds for Ghana.
The TFA, the Trade Facilitation Agreement, offers an opportunity to really get all the stakeholders on board for tangible results that will really impact business environment on a daily basis. So it's not just customs, it's not just the Ministry of Trade, it's not just the Ministry of Finance, it's really to bring all these different actors, health ministries and agencies, security ones, and business together to really think like what are the priorities that we have right now and how can we really benefit from what the TFA has to offer. And I think a lot of great work has already been done in Ghana and also in the ECOWAS region, but the reality is that it's still 3 times more costly to actually trade internationally with interregionally within the ECOWAS region rather than actually to engage in trade externally. So of course that would need to change also for enhanced regional integration.
And also I think I heard you speak about the opportunities in respect of job creation.
Yes, so if you look at it internationally, the TFA can actually generate around 20 million jobs, and the majority, the lion's share, will be in developing countries, around 18 million. It will actually have a bigger impact than the removal of all trade tariffs, which is, of course, significantly. So it will generate jobs, economic prosperity, it will make it easier for business, and also consumers will reap the benefits because goods will become cheaper.
It's been a great pleasure for having you on board Business Live for tonight. Thank you very much for your attention. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji. You can always keep interactive by tweeting your comments, suggestions, and of course, any more, examples or anything that you have on the program. The handle is @JoyBusinessGH, and if you're a Facebooker, go to Joy Business. And of course, for more business news, log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Good evening.